Hey everyone, SG Caper, doing some painting. Figured I'd show you how it's going. Why not, right? I'll be painting this here. This is a zombie German Shepherd that was made. And it was a cast. I've already primed it. And I got this from a friend of mine. Who's a custom caster, a customizer, and a collector, reached out to me and said, hey, I'm getting out of 1/18 to pursue other projects. Would you be interested in buying my collection? And of course I'd be interested. I said, what are you looking to get for it? And he offered a price that, had I passed, I would be stupid. I would have regretted it forever, and it would have been a stupid choice. So I said yes, and I got a ton of custom cast stuff. I got some original sculpts, I got some completed figures, I got some customs that he did. I got all kinds of really neat stuff. This is one of them, and you might recognize it. It's Order from the RAH line, but it's been heavily modified, and then it was cast and made. So it's got a lot of damage. There's some tears, and you can see the ribs. It's missing an eye. Some pulled away from the bone there. Same on this side. Some looks like little bullet wounds and things. So I'm going to paint this up today, and figured I'd show you how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to start by painting it just like a normal German Shepherd. I'm not going to get into the gore and the bones and that stuff until after. So I'm going to start with painting it like a German Shepherd. I have a German Shepherd for reference up on my computer screen here, and let's get going. So as always, I primed it with Games Workshop Chaos Black primer, my favorite primer. And let me get a brush that I want to use. Let's see. So this is the base Citadel Mournfang Brown, but I'm going to add just the tiniest touch of the Fire Dragon Bright. So Citadel layer Fire Dragon Bright, just a tiny bit, because German Shepherds aren't actually brown, they're more like a orangey almost. There you go, I like that color. And I'm gonna leave the saddle area black, because they do have that kind of saddle area. And I'm gonna go in, oh, I like that. And I'm just looking over at the screen I have open. My daughter is at camp, so there will be no interruptions. My wife is at work. It's just me. I'm on summer break now, so hopefully I'll get to do a few more videos than I did this past school year. If you know a teacher or are a teacher, my hat's off to you. It was a rough year. If you know a teacher, buy them a drink, whatever it is. Whiskey, beer, tea, coffee, doesn't matter. Buy them a drink. They deserve it, because this was crazy. I've been a teacher for 15 years now, and this was most definitely the hardest. And I'm not trying to get a full even coat here. I I want to be able to see the texture underneath, and I'm going to have to go back in and put some of the black in the saddle back, and that's okay. I don't mind. Right now it's just getting the color on so I know where I want it. Always get the bottoms of the feet, don't forget. You wouldn't be surprised how many figures I've gotten from other customizers and the bottoms of the feet aren't painted. Okay, the face. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this color I mixed up over the whole face, and then I'll go back in and add the black back onto the muzzle and whatnot. Really, I just want to get a feel for where things are on the sculpt. Just going over it. There we are so far. Now I have the two colors I mixed, that brown and that orange, and I'm going to add a little tan to it. I'm going to try this one. I'm going to try to add a little Citadel layer Oosh Opti bone, and that's because the belly and the insides of the legs and whatnot is much lighter, and I want to try to show that. And this is just going to do the belly and like the insides of the legs. It's actually not the color I want it to be. Okay. I'm going to add the tiniest touch of white. No, that's not doing it. So I just added a little bit of Citadel layer white scar. Still not doing what I want. So I'm going to try a little yellow. So this was Citadel layer flash gets yellow. Let's see if that gives me the look I want. Oh yeah, that's better. All right. A little bit of the highlights on the face. All right, there we go. So far, so good. I'm liking that. Ooh. Put my paints back where they belong. Clean my brush. All right. Get that picture back up. go to the black now. I'm going to get a smaller brush. The first brush I used is just a number 2. This one is going to be a 2-0. And I am using the Citadel Base Abaddon Black. And I'm going to start going in and fixing some areas. So the nose and the snout, the muzzle here. And there's a lot of color patterns on German Shepherds. They don't all look the same. So if you wanted to make a bunch of these, you could do them all a little different, and that'd be fine, right? Like some are more black, some are more brown, some are all black. My dad liked to have white shepherds. He really liked white ones. Don't know why, but he did. That was his thing. Darken up those ears. Now this side I want to bring the saddle down a little. I am going to go into these wounds with the black, just so I have a nice base when I go and do the dry brushing of the flesh and blood and all that stuff. So I want to make sure that the wounds are filled in. Paint fell. Thankfully it didn't spill, but my paint fell over. Okay. Oh gosh, okay. You can see some black got on there. So hopefully I can get some of this color I mixed. Oh, here. Come on. It's not that big a deal, because I am going to be adding all the blood and gore still. Okay. Here's where we're at so far. Not bad. Let's start with the gore. I'm going to start with a nice bright red. I'm going to start with the Citadel layer, Evil Sun's Scarlet. If I can get it to mix properly. Okay. Let's see. And I will be going back in to do like the bone and whatnot, but for now, I just want to start with getting the gore. let's do this side. Here are these tiny little holes. I need a smaller brush to get into those. All right. Clean my brush. Put that paint away. See if I have a smaller brush that I might be able to use. Just trying to add a little bit more, just a little bit of detail to these. Now, a lot of this will be covered over when I do the blood for the blood gone, but still, it's good to know where you want to put stuff. All right. Okay, I switched to a 5-layer, nice Citadel brush, and I'm going to do the bone, and I'm going to start with the Citadel layer white scar. Start with a little bit of that. And there's not a lot for this. It's these 2 ribs. And it looks very stark now, but it won't when I'm done. And then I'll do the leg. I know that this is not anatomically correct for the bone in the leg, and I don't care, because it's also not real. It's a toy. Come on, people. Do a little bit around the eye socket. And then on the other side, no bone. So it's really just those spots. And then I'll go in and do these teeth. I need to go back and fix that in a minute. Clean my brush. Now, that should dry because it's such a small area. That should dry pretty quick. If it's a little wet, that's okay. I'm going to use my Citadel layer Ouche Opti Bone and just a little bit of it, not too much. And I'm going to go over that. I'll do the eye. And then the teeth. For teeth, I like to go one more color. I'm not cleaning my brush. Just a tiny bit of yellow. Now I'm going to take the little bit of white that I have left on my paper over here and just go over that. It's almost a wash at this point because it's so thin. Okay. Now, while I let that dry, I'm going to clean up around the muzzle, around those teeth. Using my Abaddon Black. Alright, go. Now, it's time to put on the wash. See if this is the one I want to use. So this is Argax Earthshade. You can see it's just kind of filling in all the little details in the sculpt, kind of darkening up the colors. Helps give it a little more depth. Clean that brush. That's going to take a minute. Excuse me. I think I might add just a touch. Let's see. All I'm doing is adding just a little bit of the Reichland flesh shade. So just a little bit more depth. Alright, so that is very wet. I can't do the next step until this is a little drier, so I gotta wait. Pull some of that out of there. That's where we're at so far. The last step, once this is dry, is to really gore it up. Actually, even before this, so I got two more. I'm just going to dusty, make it a little dustier, and I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to dry brush a little of the Citadel Layer Carrick Stone, and then I think I'm going to add a little of the Armageddon dust, really just around the feet, and then the Citadel Technical Blood for the Blood God. But I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. Pull out some of this wash that's pooling too much, because it'll take far longer to dry. I don't want that. This side looks almost done. So at the beginning of the video I was telling you I got a collection. One of them was an unfinished custom in the collection I picked up, and so I just primed it, and I'll be painting and accessorizing this guy. It's a really interesting use of parts. Got some Iron Man upper arms, some Stormtrooper, Clone Trooper lower arms. These are Cobra Trooper uppers, Zartan lower legs, the Destro torso. I believe this was the Flash head. So some interesting parts choices, and I really like the way these arms and the torso work together. I never would have thought to do that combo myself. So I'm going to see what I can do with this. Still letting this dry. I'm working on another halfling for my fantasy stuff. This is a Mega Constructs figure. This is a Star Wars head, and I'll put it together. Use some boss fight hands, things like that. Lots of stuff to be painted. Got a figure here I'm working on for my like sci-fi universe. He's going to be a driver. these guys are essentially done. Just some troopers. And this guy's a cool one. Gotta finish him up, and he's gonna be in my sci-fi verse. Lots of stuff on the desk, and a whole stack of vehicles down here. Gonna do a Star Wars droid. All right, that's pretty good. Let's dusty him up. I got a new brush I'm going to try out, the Citadel dry brush. Gonna give it a shot. Gosh, this paint might be almost done. No, not quite dry enough. All right, that's not dry enough. So I'm gonna wait a minute. Get my brush ready. Now, I don't want to do a lot of this. I just want to kind of dusty them up a little bit. Not too much. That's good. Same thing with this. I don't want too much. I just want to make him slightly dusty. Especially down around the feet, like he's been walking in mud. Maybe a little on the belly. And this is a textured paint, so there's little granules in it. All right, that's good for me. I don't want to overdo it. That wasn't too hard. Now, blood for the blood god. Shake it up. This stuff is awesome. See if I can get it to flow. There we go. Just turning it to get the paint to go. And you can see it's just kind of flowing down the body the way my hand is in the way. Oh, it's dripping. I like that. I like the way it looks. I'm going to stop. I'm going to let this dry. I'll take some pictures and you'll see what that looks like all dry. Thanks for watching.